Hello, friends. It has been a while since we've just talked. Nothing fancy, so I thought we'd do that today. Um, there's two things I have in my mind right now. One is the other day I was sleep deprived to the point of euphoria, and I was standing in the kitchen letting my mind transcend reality. And I looked at the microwave, and there was a setting on it for baked potatoes. Now, I don't like potatoes on the best of days, to be honest. I think the only good potato are either French fries or tater tots, or hash browns, I guess. And I legitimately can't think of any potatoes that I like outside of that. And maybe mashed potatoes, but even then, I don't like the potatoes themselves. I like the gravy or the turkey or the roast beef or whatever. I like it as I don't like it's a vessel for something better to come. So that being said, though, if you like mashed potatoes, or any potatoes, like more power to you. I'm not here to tell people not to like potatoes. Wow. Um, but regardless of that, all right. Look, you have a setting. You have pizza, popcorn, soup, uh, just vague leftovers, and then mashed potato, or not? No, baked potato, which is like the worst form of potato. They're like the worst that a potato can taste reasonably without adding like obvious nastiness like dirt. That's the thing. Baked potatoes are dirt. It's literally you're eating like congealed dirt. You've taken something that grew from dirt, is dirt, and have ingested it. I'm not saying everything that grows in dirt is dirt. I mean, apple, like any fruit and vegetable you could think of, roots, they all have flavors. They all have pleasant feelings associated. But potatoes taste like dirt. They are dirt. It's disgusting. And if the best, oh my god, the best that a potato, a baked potato, could possibly be, if it was trying its absolute hardest, the best that can be is like passable for survival. And it has to be fresh out of the oven, melted butter, copious amounts of bacon bits, cheese if you like cheese. I know, whatever else you put on your freaking baked potatoes. But don't come around here anywhere saying that you're gonna microwave a baked potato. Like, and enough people do that there's a setting on the microwave to make it so that that can be a reality for people at the click of a button instead of like three. I don't I can't fathom I can't understand that. It won't compute. My reptile mind, it who's out there not finishing a baked potato, storing it, and then coming back and saying, "You know what? I'm in the mood for a cold, rubbery clunk chunk of dirt, and I want it to be microwaved so the rubberiness is emphasized, and then parts of it can be crunchy too." Like, that is so that's so weird, and it's such a sad just let down of life. Look, if you're one of these people, and it's alright if you are, but if you're one of these people, I urge you to don't you deserve more than that. You're a good person. You deserve to have more than that. You deserve, at the very least, you deserve to have a baked potato that's fresh out of the oven. What does it take? Like 10 minutes? 10 minutes to cook a baked potato? Maybe 15 if you have to preheat the oven. Just have some self-respect. don't preheat potatoes, America, as a whole. It's not just one person. But I would, if it was one person or a small community of people, I feel like I could talk to them and try to understand them and what's wrong and guide them perhaps. But no, it's on a setting. It's a setting on a microwave. There's a picture of a baked potato, and it says baked potato under it. It is it's a national level threat. It's an Avengers level threat. And here I am yelling into the void, wishing things were different. That button could be used for something else. It could be used for... It could be nothing. You know, that's even better. My imagination is faltering right now. Just please stop. Please don't do that. Let's put an end to that. I don't like to get political. I really try to avoid being political as much as I can. But sometimes you get backed up into a corner and you have to talk about it. And here I am. And regardless, look, at the end of the day, regardless of you're some sort of heathen that puts your mashed potatoes in freaking microwaves the next day, or not, you're a sane person that doesn't. Either way, you have a place here. I want you here. I love you. I believe in you. You can be here. We can talk. Potato politics aside. Any politics aside. Especially freaking potato politics. Anyway, moving on to something that I think is a little bigger of a thing to talk about. Not an issue though, it's just some thoughts I had. So recently I've been watching that Blade Runner 2049. I watched it I think 6 times last week, and it just really spoke to me. I think I've seen it once since it's been. I saw it once. No, I saw it twice in theaters, and then once in between that time and now at some point. So I was going in, and that was like soon after it came out. So it's been almost a decade, and going into it, I remembered some key moments. I remembered liking it a lot. I even bought Kay's jacket when I was a teenager because I had money to do that with, since I was a teenager and didn't have any kind of responsibilities with money. And the temptation to do it again is exhilarating and high. But anyway, that aside, one of the things I love about that movie, I'm not sure how widely known this is. This might be beating a dead horse. Which, by the way, the last video I made about dissecting the freaking song lyrics to After Dark, and you can see where the inspiration for that song came from. If I've been having a Blade Runner 2049 binge. No one's watched it yet. But I forgot why I even brought it up. Huh. Yeah, I forgot. So let's move on from that and get into the point. The movie is very... I don't know, one of the things I love about the movie is that Kay, the main character, his name is Kay, or Joe, I guess. We're going to use Kay. He's the protagonist of the film, and certainly the main character of the film. Like, everything centers around his point of view, which is good because he's an awesome character. But I would argue that the story, he's secondary to the greater story, if he's even secondary to the greater story. I don't want to analyze 2049 here and break it down. Well, I do, but not right now in this video. There's a lot to say about it, and spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. I don't know how much I'm going to talk about it, but I am, so be wary, I guess, if you haven't seen it yet and want to. But like everything he does serves like the plot. Like the events that happen and like the key moments in the film wouldn't happen if Kay wasn't in the story and the universe, like manipulating things and progressing the story. But as far as the story with Deckard goes, and his love affair and having a kid, and the greater just statement on replicants in the universe and what's possible with replicants. Kay isn't in the spotlight for that almost at all. I think there's maybe 2 parts where he is, but a lot of it is just him kind of doing his own thing behind closed doors with no friends, no family. He's a replicant, so of course, like, he doesn't have a family or and friends, because it seems like everyone hates replicants in the world. The only thing he has is joy. His Not the feeling joy. He definitely does not have that, but he does have his AI girlfriend Joy, and she sticks with him throughout the film. And there's even one part where, and actually this is a good part. There's two key scenes that I would like to use to make my point, or to open the door to me making my point. One is there's a scene where Kay is investigating DNA strands, trying to find this child that was supposedly born up between 2 replicants, and while he's doing that, it's just tedious work, just looking at charts pretty much. And he lets Joy come out because she's like a hologram, and she like walks around the room and like sits with him and like talks with him. And I think in any film that would be a sweet and touching scene where, you know, some guy has his girlfriend that he's living for, and he's here and she's just like chilling with him. I think that'd be very sweet. But the fact that his girlfriend is fake, like not at all real, not even physical, just like images, like, because at least Kay's not technically real. Well, at least that's, I think, what you're supposed to be thinking at the beginning. By the end, I think you're supposed to be questioning that and challenging that idea. But Kay is like, he's artificially made. He's wires and bolts and whatever. But he's at least like here, like he's physical. He seems to have feelings at a couple points in the film, and so it's and Joy isn't. She's not even physical. She is only an image that can be manipulated. So, and I think because of that, that scene is a very like secondary character scene, and very very melancholic, if not just outright depressing. The other scene, and I'm sure a lot of you can think of what the scene would be, that I would use as an example of how in this story, Kay is not the leading character and he is a side character, is at the very, very end, before Kay like lays on the stairs and everything. When he's with Deckard and he shows like he saved Deckard and taken her to the place where his daughter is, and he's like in the process of getting Deckard to go in and say hi to like meet his daughter. And then I don't remember the exact quotes, but Deckard says something like why would you do all this for a total stranger? And Kay just kind of smiles and says, "Go meet your daughter," and then he lays down and dies. That is a scene, obviously, like, you can so vividly imagine Deckard going into the building and like watching that scene play out of him meeting the daughter, and it's all teary-eyed. The lady that plays his daughter, by the way, is an incredible actress. The air conditioning just kicked in, so it's really loud now. I'm sorry. But she's an incredible actress, and I would love to see a scene between Deckard talking with the daughter. And like I said, in the overall story of Blade Runner, that would be the pivotal, like, definite end scene and like climax of Deckard meeting his daughter. But in Kay's story, it doesn't matter. In Kay's story, all that matters is he got Deckard there. Anything past that between Deckard and his daughter, I wish I could remember her name, but that doesn't matter. Kay's story ends there too, though, when he lays down on the stairs, and that's that. And I really, really like that, like, a lot. I don't know why it resonated with me so much. There's a lot about this film that resonates with a lot of people, but specifically like the loneliness aspect, which is like fair. Loneliness is portrayed extremely well in this film and extremely like glamorized and like attractive. Um, but I love, and maybe being a secondary character in your own story is a symptom of loneliness. I don't know. I could see how that could be the case. Um, I think if you're lonely, there's a level of submission, uh, like to your life that like you kind of like you have to admit that you're kind of alone and you're not where you want to be. Um, but one of the reasons I love it so much, aside from that, is I think, understandably and rightfully so, a lot of what we do, I think, for the most part, people see themselves as protagonists, like the main characters of their own life. And I've seen them reels on Instagram about saying like you're the main character of your own life, so act like it. And then they show people traveling to Scotland and whatever, and you're like, you have to be rich to do that, man. That's not a mindset thing. That's a money thing. Sorry, but anyway, that was a side note, and I totally got derailed for it. Right, I think people use being the main character of their own life as a way to like help cope and to help find meaning, and that's good. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I do that a lot. I absolutely live off like stories and relating to characters, and like that is absolutely in the alley of things I do. And I'm not trying to diss on it or say it's wrong or that it's less than. That's not my goal at all. However, what I am saying is that I think the mindset of saying like sometimes like it's not about me, maybe a lot of the time it's not about me, that doesn't mean that I have less worth, and it doesn't mean that I'm not bringing anything to the table. Like, look at Kay in this story. Like I said, he's, in the grand scheme of what the story is, the story of Blade Runner, it is heavily like Kay is not in it at all, almost. Like I said, like him in the spotlight. Like if there was to be a movie about the Blade Runner like world, I don't think Kay would like be in it very much. However, the things he does behind closed doors without anybody knowing or caring about who he is or what he is, all that stuff allows the Blade Runner story to be completed and to have like a definite ending and to have a resolution. And I think, and that's directly because of Kay and nobody else. And I think that is a really touching thing that we can learn in real life. I don't think we have to be present on the scene all the time. I don't think we have to be seen. Certainly not as much as people think, but even like reasonably, I don't think we need to be seen. But that doesn't mean at all that we don't have influence on the world and the people in it. I don't think the world has like an overarching story. Like it's not being directed or anything. It's not a film. It's life. But I think people are pretty consistently struggling to find their place in it. And I think their place often to them feels like it has to be loud and it has to be like forthright and there. And again, that's fine. But I think it would be good if it was also acknowledged that there's a lot of nobility and a lot of power and impact that can come from not being seen, not being heard, just having your own little corner, your own little space. And yeah, that is a vibe I've been trying to feel. I know and the Stoics have a lot of commentary that has become kind of a popular mainstream philosophy now, where it's kind of like suffer quietly. Which isn't to say don't reach out to friends, don't reach out to family, and like don't get help. Like, that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is, if you're going through something hard, don't make it everybody's problem. Don't be loud about it. Just do what you have to do to get through it. And if that involves you just taking it, then do that. If it involves you reaching out to a friend and asking them to like just vent, then do that. If it involves something bigger, like going to therapy or like moving somewhere to get away from something like that, that's fine. But I think that is a good example of kind of being the secondary character, and something that we can all apply. Like, you can have growth, and you can affect friends and family around you through growth by just doing it yourself. And it doesn't have to be seen or acknowledged or praised or criticized. It can just be what it is. And again, I want to make sure I'm not saying there's anything wrong or bad about craving like validation and praise for things you do or say or complete. Like, obviously that's like good and okay, and I think it's important to be praised and acknowledged, but it's not vital. So I guess if I had to, sorry, my voice just went. I'm getting over a sickness, which is part of the reason why I was sleep deprived so much. But yeah, if I had to end this with like a solid piece of advice or wisdom or whatever, I would say, like, if you're struggling to find a place, or if you feel like you're not getting as much of the, I don't know, maybe attention or acknowledgement that you need, maybe, again, I'm not trying to say that it's wrong to want attention or validation. Definitely, like, we want that, and that's good to want. But maybe every now and then, if it feels like something you can try, maybe it's okay to step aside and say, my role right now in this situation with this circumstance is to be a secondary character, not the main character. And maybe instead of being Deckard going into the room to meet my daughter, maybe today I can be Kay, and I can be the reason somebody else gets to have that moment and that spotlight, and I can bring that joy to somebody else. And then maybe after that, who knows, but maybe today my role is a supporting character. So I think that's it. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. I have the craziness that's been preventing me from making videos more often has died down, so I think I can finally start uploading more, because I think I've got like one a week right now, which maybe two, which sucks, and I hate it. So I'm getting back on the train of being more consistent, so I'm excited for that. Thank you all again. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.